Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are set to face off in a huge boxing event in Las Vegas, with 6 fights also taking place on the undercard. Hey race, all the info you need. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are on the cusp of one of boxing's most eagerly awaited bouts. With just hours to go before they step into the ring. The pair, both big names on the mythical pound-for-pound list, are set to square off in Las Vegas, promising a match brimming with potential outcomes. Crawford, a 2-weight undisputed world champion, is moving up 2 weight divisions to challenge Canelo Alvarez, who has held world titles across 4 divisions. Alvarez, the current undisputed super middleweight world champion, will be defending his titles in Sin City. The bout also marks the entry of UFC CEO Dana White into boxing, with the fight being promoted by TKO and Saudi Arabia power broker Turki Al-Sheikh. Hey race, everything you need to know about this weekend's fights. Canelo Alvarez vs Terence Crawford, 5 a.m. The main event promises to deliver one of the best fights of the year, and potentially of all time, as 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet meet in the center of the ring. Neither man needs any introduction, with both having reigned as undisputed world champions. Alvarez does so heading into the weekend, holding all 4 super middleweight belts, while Crawford did the same at light, welterweight and welterweight. The American is jumping up 2 weight divisions in an attempt to cement his legacy as one of the best to ever do it. Christian Billy vs Lester Martinez, 4 a.m. Both Christian Billy and Lester Martinez are eyeing up their chance to become the next challenger for the main event winner, with the WBC interim super middleweight world title up for grabs this weekend. 2 undefeated records are also at stake in a bout that could potentially outshine the main event. Callum Walsh vs Fernando Vargas, 3 a.m. 2 more undefeated fighters go head-to-head as Callum Walsh, widely regarded as one of boxing's brightest prospects, steps into the ring. The Irishman, who trains in California, has been a long-term project for UFC boss Dana White and has been coached by Manny Pacquiao's former trainer Freddie Roach. He faces a formidable opponent in Vargas, who has knocked out 15 of his 17 opponents so far. Muhammad Alavarez vs Travis Kent Crawford, 2:15 a.m. Muhammad Alavarez, originally from Saudi Arabia, now trains in the mountains of Big Bear and has secured another spot on a major card. After earning his first stoppage victory, he's making his American debut against Travis Kent Crawford, who holds a winning record despite losing his last 2 fights. Sergey Bohachuk vs Brandon Adams, 1:30 a.m. 4 years after their initial clash. Sergey Bohachuk is seeking revenge against Brandon Adams following a stoppage defeat in their first encounter in Puerto Rico in 2021. Since then, the Ukrainian has both won and lost the WBC interim light middleweight title, suffering a loss to Virgil Ortiz Jr. last year. On the other hand, Adams has only stepped into the ring 3 times since their first fight, losing to Andreas Katsurakis in his most recent bout. Ivan Ditchko vs Jermaine Franklin, 12:45 a.m. Jermaine Franklin, known to UK boxing fans as the fighter outpointed by Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua in consecutive London bouts, has a tough challenge ahead. He's set to face Kazakh knockout specialist Ivan Ditchko, who boasts an impressive record of 15 wins, 14 by stoppage. Sultan Al-Mohammed vs Martin Caraballo, 12:15 a.m. Another promising talent from Saudi Arabia, Sultan Al-Mohammed, will make his debut against Martin Caraballo, who managed a draw in his own debut earlier this year. Raito Tsutsumi vs Javier Martinez, 11:45 p.m. Raito Tsutsumi, who has fought in Times Square and Louis Armstrong Stadium this year, faces Javier Martinez in Las Vegas for his 3rd professional fight. Martinez started strong with 7 wins but has lost his last 2 fights, positioning him as a potential stepping stone for Tsutsumi. Steven Nelson vs Reiko Santana, 11 p.m. Steven Nelson is looking to recover from his defeat by rising star Diego Pacheco when he squares off against Reiko Santana. Despite a string of 20 victories, Nelson was bested by Pacheco, who won the favor of all 3 judges. Santana, on the other hand, has lost 4 of his 16 fights but has faced tough competition. Marco Verde Alvarez vs Sona Akale, 10:30 p.m. Marco Verde Alvarez, a newcomer to the boxing scene, is aiming for his 3rd consecutive win against the more seasoned Sona Akale, who hasn't tasted victory in nearly 2 years.